Hey, what's up guys? Taren here. Today we're going to break it down to the very basics of triathlon and explain each of the triathlon distances. Stick around. So if you or a friend have been thinking about doing a triathlon, you might be wondering what distance to do. Today I'm going to walk you through each of the triathlon distances, who does them, how long it takes, and how to approach them. The first and the shortest distance, which a lot of people start out with, is called a super sprint, or it might be called a tri-tri. These races are really short, like really short. This is what I started out with, and it only takes in between about 40 and 60 minutes. The distances for this vary a lot depending on the course, but typically they're in the neighborhood of around 300 meters for the swim, maybe 13 kilometers for the bike, and about 3 to 5 kilometers for the run. This is an excellent way to get into triathlon, and if you're starting from no athletic background at all, I would definitely recommend starting with one of these types of races. The next longest distance is called a sprint triathlon. Sprints are still short, but they're like normal short. This is a 750 meter swim, a 20 kilometer bike, and a 5K run. Pro triathletes are doing this in around 52 minutes, and the average age group athlete might take about an hour 20 minutes to an hour 30 minutes, going up to about 2 hours. This is a very good distance to start out with as well because it's over fairly quickly. You never get too far away from the finish line, so there's always people to help you if you need. If you're thinking about becoming a more competitive age group triathlete, sprint triathlons are a very good place to build your speed from. I ended up doing sprint triathlons for 3 years just to build that base of really fast speed, and I found that it helped a lot. You don't have to worry a ton about nutrition in sprint triathlons, and this distance is nothing to sneeze at. It's a very difficult race to do because it is so quick. Your lactic acid really builds up in your body, and it's painful. Just not quite like beat your body down painful like an Ironman. It's painful in a different way. Youth triathletes actually race this distance, and if you see the looks on their faces, you know that this is no cakewalk. The next longest distance is an Olympic triathlon. Olympics just seem kind of like a normal distance to me. Olympic triathlons are a 1,500 meter swim, a 40K bike, and then a 10K run. This is what you see in, fittingly, the Olympics. Pro triathletes are doing these in about an hour and 49 minutes. The average age group athlete might do it in about 2 hours and 40 minutes, going all the way up to 3:45, almost 4 hours in some cases. An Olympic distance triathlon is still not a bad place to get started in the sport because an Olympic distance triathlon is getting a little bit longer than those short distances. You do have to worry about things like nutrition, proper pacing, your race strategy, whether you go harder in one sport or another. But then the nice thing about the Olympic distance triathlon is that your body has a lot of time to settle into each sport. So in some cases, let's say you get off the bike and you're not feeling very well and your body's cramping as you start the run, you've got enough time to turn that around and actually have a really good run if you can settle your body down and get into a nice pace. So there's the opportunity for disaster, but also the opportunity to fix problems if they come up. This distance triathlon is certainly one that you have to train for. It's a lot harder just to go and enter it without training at all, but it's right on the edge of being able to get through it coming in cold. The next longest distance is a half-ironman, or a 70.3, because it's 70.3 miles. Very sneaky branding. Half-Ironmans start getting a little bit longer. Total distance for a 70.3 half-Ironman is a 1,900 meter swim, a 90K bike, and then a half marathon, 21.1 kilometers. Pro triathletes will be doing half-Ironmans in about 3 hours and 45 minutes, and age group athletes can take probably in between about 5 and 6 hours on average. This is where cutoff times start coming into play. You have an hour and 10 minutes to finish the swim, 5.5 hours past the start of the race to finish the bike, and 8.5 hours past the start of the race to finish the entire race. That's very generous, and not a lot of people should ever have an issue coming into that cutoff time. This is the distance of triathlon where you really have to worry about the preparation before you get to the start line. All that said, a lot of people that I talk to that step up to the half-Ironman distance absolutely love it. They say that it's their favorite distance of triathlon. It's probably the longest distance that you can go and still make it a race. It's not nearly as acutely painful as the sprint and Olympic races. It's painful in a different way, more in the aspect of managing your body, making sure that you don't beat yourself down. But it's about as long as you can go in a race effort while still incorporating some of the logistical issues of nutrition and training and strategy. It's fun in a sick and twisted way. The granddaddy of them all, which has inspired many an M. tattoo, is the Ironman Distance race.
And Ironmans are pretty long.
This is a 3.8 kilometer swim, a 180 kilometer bike, and a full marathon 42.2 kilometer run. It's horrible, just a horrible distance. Pro triathletes are now doing this distance in as quickly as 7 hours and 45 minutes, and the longest amount of time that you can take, because you get booted off the course if you don't finish it, by midnight is 17 hours. That's right, some people are doing a triathlon in the entire amount of time that most of you are awake throughout the day. This varies a little bit from race to race, but age group athletes are given about 2 hours and 10 minutes to complete the swim, about 8 hours and 10 minutes to complete the bike, and about 6 hours and 30 minutes to complete the marathon. The Ironman Distance race is what you see on TV. This is what's held in Hawaii at the Ironman World Championships in Kona. This is the big kahuna of the races. There is a huge amount of planning that goes into racing an Ironman triathlon as far as nutrition, getting to the race, training for the race, preparing for the race, paying for the race, qualifying for the race, registering for the race, packing for the race, acclimatizing for the race. And that all happens before you even have to worry about surviving the race. So there is an incredible amount of preparation that you have to get into. And if you're doing the Ironman Distance Triathlon as your first race, you crazy, man. Now you might be thinking that I'm done. Incorrect. There are more distances of triathlon, and I gotta read these out to you. A double ultra triathlon, a triple ultra triathlon, a quadruple ultra triathlon, a quintuple ultra triathlon, a deca ultra triathlon, a 10 days triathlon, a double deca ultra triathlon, and a triple deca ultra triathlon.
These races are really far!
I'm going to tell you about the triple deca ultra triathlon. It's a 114 kilometer swim, 71 miles, a 54 kilometer, 3,400 mile bike ride, and a 1,260 kilometer, 780 mile run. Seriously, who's doing this? I'll tell you who's doing this. Marc-Antoine Bouhol. He's a Canadian, by the way. Props. It took him 1,809 hours, 53 minutes, and 32 seconds. That's 75 friggin' days. There you have it. Those are the triathlon distances and some of the nuances with each one of them. If you've got any questions about them that I didn't answer because I kept it really high level and skimmed through it as quickly as I could, by all means, ask me in the comments below or hit me up on social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all at @Taren. Otherwise, as always, happy and hard training and kill your next day race.